Obama will be back out on the road next week pitching his economic plan. On Tuesday, he'll speak about the middle class at an Amazon shipping center in Tennessee. The president made 3 speeches this week, and on Wednesday, he called out some Republicans for playing politics with jobs.
There are Republicans in Congress right now who privately agree with me on a lot of the ideas I'll be proposing. I know because they've said so. But they worry they'll face swift political retaliation for cooperating with me. Now, there are others who will dismiss every idea I put forward.
Well, joining me now is Izzy Santa, Hispanic Media Communications Director for the RNC. And Izzy, with a good morning to you. Is the president right? Are Republicans opposing him on the economy for purely political reasons?
You know, it's interesting. He mentions that Republicans agree with him, but I would actually say Democrats are fleeing away from him. We just saw last week Democrats vote to delay the employer mandate and the individual mandate in Obamacare. These are Democrats that are facing tough elections in 2014. So to say that even our own party agrees with him is false, and I would even challenge him and say his party's dismissing his policies because they make it tough in 2014 for them.
But what about this? Because the president went on to say that the GOP can't just be against its ideas or his ideas. It has to be for something, to have ideas of its own. John Boehner and Mitch McConnell may not like the president's speeches, but have they sold their own plans yet?
Look, right now we have an economy that's sluggish. The new normal is above unemployment rate of 7%. Hispanic unemployment rate is 9.1. African-American unemployment rate, it's over 16%. The fact is the president's policies have failed tremendously, and he's going on this tour to sell Obamacare because, as you saw in the NBC Wall Street Journal poll, 47% of folks think it's a bad idea.
But
so if it's a bad idea,
can I ask you a question here?
Yeah.
I asked you about a GOP plan, and you're talking about the president's policies. Is there a GOP plan?
The GOP, Speaker Boehner and House Republicans have always said we would like to expand our energy resources, we'd like to simplify the tax code, we'd like to cut some red tape, and we'd like to cut government spending. And I think that's one of the main problems that the president has, is that his policies are just full of government spending, and it doesn't seem to stimulate the economy.
All right, let's take a look at what the CBO, Congressional Budget Office, just released, which is this report that finds the Senate immigration bill would cut the deficit by nearly $200 billion over the next 10 years. Add to that another $700 billion in the 10 subsequent years. Can this country afford to not pass immigration reform? I mean, and emphasis on the word afford.
Our immigration system is broken, and House Republicans are working on this issue. And it's interesting that you say that, because the president had an opportunity in 2009 and in 2010 to do something with immigration reform. And when the economy was in the shambles, he could have done immigration reform, but instead he chose Obamacare, which is adding billions to the deficit.
Okay,
and there were millions of Hispanics that were on the National Mall screaming, "Si se puede," and the president ignored their cries, and the fact that was the key opportunity for him to do that.
But now that immigration reform is front and center and on the table, isn't it the GOP in the House that's stopping immigration reform?
I don't think so. I mean, we have Representative Goodlatte, who's working on a bill with Cantor. We have the Gang of Seven, who's working on a bipartisan bill. We have Paul Ryan, who did a Hispanic listening session in Wisconsin, telling folks this is what we stand for, and we are expecting to have something to vote on in October. So Republicans are leading on this issue, and to say that is, I reject that premise that we're not working on the issue. We are being careful, we're being attentive, we're addressing all the issues that the American people want, which is, what do we do with those that are here undocumented? How do we make sure that we track those people that are here? And how do we make sure that there's a legal way for them to earn legalization?
Okay. Izzy Santa, thanks for weighing in there. Communications
Thanks so
Director
much.
from the Hispanic Media for the RNC.